know David Fincher went to Netflix and pitched this idea to them saying, hey, I am one of the greatest directors working today. You know that, I'm David Fincher. But guess what? I don't have an Oscar. And last year, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood did the 1960s kind of vibe and got all these Oscar nominations and a bunch of applause and all that kind of stuff. What if we go back to the 1930s? Because film lovers love those kind of time. So let's do that and get all these Oscars. Mank. This brand new 2020 David Fincher movie is being released this Friday on Netflix, December 4th. This has been my most anticipated Oscar movie for the rest of the year because, like I said last week, I've been doing all the David Fincher series reviews leading up to this brand new release coming out this Friday. I'm just excited because of David Fincher, and he's discussing one of the greatest films ever made. Just sign me up. This film stars Gary Oldman, Amanda Seyfried, Lily Collins, and Charles Dance, and follows screenwriter Herman J. Mankiewicz, who is in development of Orson Welles' iconic masterpiece, Citizen Kane. The pauses begin with David Fincher. He is still one of the best directors making. If you watched all my videos last week of David Fincher's series, you know I talked about how pitch perfect of a frame director he is. Every frame feels important. There's no useless shots, no useless dialogue, none of that. Once again, he does that, and now he's in the 1930s vibe, and you know he's a big fan of old film. So with this movie, he was just gushing all over 1930s film and using these actors, how they talked, how they walked, how they dressed. The movie technically is pitch perfect. The sound mixing, the sound design, how the actors talk, the costume design is perfect. The sets, the look of the movie, the black and white look with the graininess and a little cigarette butt like in Fight Club. David Fincher is a masterclass at these kind of things, and when he got a script from his dad, which apparently they were gonna make in the 1990s, I don't think he was ready for it yet. They were in development. It never happened. 20 years later, he gets his dad's script and he makes it. So I respect David Fincher a whole bunch for making the movie that his dad wrote. I really like that story a lot. And with this great story of Orson Welles and Citizen Kane, he's got an amazing cast. Everything good that's been said has already been said, but Gary Oldman is truly just one of those actors. He can just play anything. In this movie, he's fantastic as Mank. I won't say he's like, this is his best performance ever. I won't say that. But he's a solid performer in this movie. How he talks, how he walks, how he acts, how he just puts his body in motion. He is an all-go-getter kind of actor, and he's probably going to get nominated for an Oscar for this movie. Who also, I think, is going to get nominated is Amanda Seyfried, who is very good in this movie and how she talks, how she acts. She is just a great supporting role, so that's why I think she's going to get nominated for Best Supporting Actress. She's very good. Lily Collins is good. Charles Dance is good. Everyone in this movie is just perfectly cast, how they act, how they talk. David Fincher is a perfectionist, and he makes everything look good, how they talk, everything. David Fincher made a technically perfect 1930s kind of vibe movie. Now, with that said, I will not say that this is either in his top 5 or top 3. It doesn't even touch it, in my opinion. I'm not disappointed in this movie, but I'm disappointed in just the entertaining value. So I watched this movie with my parents tonight. They were very excited to watch an early screening with me, so I was very happy that they were. And the first thing they said to me after the movie was over, it was kind of boring. The story kind of sucked. That's it. And I was like, oh. And you know, after sitting there thinking about it, I agree. Now, me watching this movie, I was enjoying just technical about this movie. And then I sat back and thought about this movie. I thought about the story. I love the story of making of Citizen Kane. If you read history about it, it's an interesting story about Citizen Kane, like one of the greatest movies ever made. This movie does a good job showing of it getting developed and everything, but I think the technical greatness of the movie overshadows this weak story, and the actors, their characters, are just there. My perfect example of this is think about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It was a 1960 kind of vibe, but it had a really good characters and Rick Dalton and Brad Pitt, like great characters. It also had a really good, interesting story with Sharon Tate and all that kind of stuff. Then it came in the film industry, and then you got to see behind the scenes, which is interesting and cool, but there was a really good, interesting story following that movie. This movie all technical. That story is just there for more film lovers. The story is more of a film lover's dream, basically. But for the general audience, I can see people saying this movie is boring, uninteresting, and just not really good at all. And I respect that. I respect what David Fincher did, but I'm in the middle. Technically, the movie is very, very perfect, but story-wise and the characters-wise, it doesn't hold up the technical stuff. So overall, it's a good movie, but it is nowhere near David Fincher's best movie. I'm gonna give Mank a solid B. Am I disappointed? A little bit, to be honest. Again, David Fincher, he's a great director. He's fine. I will still see whatever he does, but I respect his script doing of his dad's script, so I respect it. David Fincher, you're still a great director, and if this movie wins Best Picture, it wouldn't shock me because Hollywood and Academy just loves old Hollywood movies. Anyway, guys, enjoy this review, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye, everyone.